Recording.
Hi, guys. I am with the Managing Director of ASAP Advertising Services, Mrs. Perl Jacalan. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Pearl.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the viewers.
You know, never before in the history of my life have I not been aware of what day and what month and what time it is. You know, yesterday I thought it was a Wednesday. As it turned out, it was a Friday yesterday. Don't you get that feeling sometimes, Pearl, that you don't know what day it is?
Yeah, but in our case, we try to keep some sort of routine so that, we don't get to that point. It's a nice feeling sometimes, always the weekend.
So tell me, Pearl, how are you and your family coping with the lockdown?
We're all good. We're trying to make the best out of this situation, of course, because all of us have been affected. So we are not unique. You know, everyone else has to go through the lockdown. So in our case, we try to keep a routine, uh, exercise in the morning, and then work and study, and then we run and bike together in the afternoon, and then we cook together. So these things we do together, but we still put a structure into it. So we have a schedule. Like I work from home with people in the office, so we change our work hours. So it's a reduced time of 4 hours a day, Mondays to Fridays now. So we start working 10:30 to 12 and 1:30 to 4. So thank goodness that we have Google Drive, that we can share our files and work together on and still continue to work.
From what I understand, of course, you're still running your company, your ASAP Advertising Services, remotely from your residence, right? I want to delve into that in a few moments because the main subject matter of this interview, of course, is the future of the advertising industry in the new normal. But before I delve into that, I'd like to ask you a few questions regarding the lockdown, Pearl, because I know you had a little, shall I say, issue with the strict checkpoints that was implemented recently by the LTO. What is your concern about the stricter implementation of the checkpoints of the LTO, Pearl? What is your concern about that?
I have to correct you, Jiggy. I have no issue
Okay.
with stricter imposition of the lockdown of the rules. So
Okay.
it's very good that they have gone stricter. I had an issue
Okay.
with how it was done. Like number
Okay.
one, like in the Banilad area, why did they should have coordinated with the police? Like the LTO should have coordinated with the police and not have redundant checkpoints. Imagine you have a checkpoint in one area and then a few meters another checkpoint. So what's the point? And then at this time, I think what is important is the quarantine pass, that they have a reason, a valid reason to go out. You know, if you have a quarantine pass, then what's the problem? Isn't that the reason why quarantine passes were issued in the first place? Let's not. I felt so bad when I saw the video because it belittled the Cebuanos. You know, so like he was ranting and bad mouthing and saying all of these things, generalization. So it wasn't good to be doing that, especially at this time of crisis. Like those people, they also had some issues, do like those people who were caught in traffic, they were also struggling with it. So let's not add to the suffering of the people. It's better to have positivity and to just do our jobs and take criticism if there is like if I could contribute something, if I could say something about it, then I just did. That's what I did. I just didn't expect the personal attack after.
You know, I think the whole rationale behind the stricter implementation of the checkpoints was for people to stay at homes, right? And I think what is happening, or what happened, is that people are abusing these so-called quarantine passes. So some of them, supposedly, they're only allowed to leave their premises or their residence maybe like a few hours, right? There's like a 2 hour window, I think, to do the essentials, like do the groceries, right? That's the issue. So I think what happened was the city was. I was shocked actually that there was a mammoth traffic jam right after Easter Monday. It was like there was a traffic jam everywhere. So I'm wondering what the hell is going on? Why are people going out? So I think that was the whole rationale behind that. But I'm sure with your inputs, Pearl, I think things hopefully will be refined, if you will, and things will be smoother today, perhaps being a weekend.
Yeah, Jiggy, I'm all for stricter implementation, but let's not jump into conclusions. I don't think people will just go around the city. If you really look around the city during the day, there are so much fewer cars. The traffic was caused because there was a bottleneck in the checkpoint. Like if you ask for the certificate of registration or the license, for example, it takes time, like per car, how many minutes? Probably 3-4 minutes per car. Just multiply it with the number of cars that we're trying to get. So, it's just my 2 cents. Okay. So that's just my opinion.
Things are relatively new to all of us here. We've never had a situation such as this, and I think everybody's inputs, including yours and mine, are important and should be taken into consideration before they make decisions or when they have to adjust whatever plans they have for the city, right, Pearl?
Correct.
Anyway,
Yes.
let's move on to the more important subject, at least the reason why we're doing this interview, the future of the advertising industry in this new normal. You mentioned, Pearl, earlier in the interview that you're working from home, and one of the things that you have implemented in your company, ASAP Advertising Services, is you have enrolled your employees with online courses. Is there a specific kind of course, a new skill that you would like them to learn in this new normal?
I have always believed that learning doesn't stop. So, especially during this time that we all have so much time, I encouraged everyone and, in fact, told them to enroll in different courses that will enhance their skills. So, these are different courses, like for artists to develop, to learn a new software, for example. So, one artist is learning about SketchUp, another is learning more about 3D graphics. So in our accounts people, on the other hand, are learning about social media content and selling on Facebook. So project management 101. So we have all, I have encouraged them to take at least the first 2 hours of their day and dedicate it to learning, because, it's good to start a day learning and doing something important for yourself. And then after that, we work from home. We share our files on Google Drive. We work on the things that we have left undone for so many years because we are too busy to do it. So we have finally been able to do that. And we are also looking to work on the future. Like, how do we organize ourselves better? So we've been making templates and all of that, checklists, things like that.
You know what, Pearl? Before the world before coronavirus, you have to agree with me. Well, I have to ask you this. Do you agree with me that the world before coronavirus was a totally and completely different world?
Definitely, definitely. So we would see a very different normal after the virus. There would be very good changes, for sure. People will be healthier, will try to live healthier, will probably spend less and be, sanitizing all the time. And we don't know how we are going, like when we meet friends, are we going to hug them still, things like that. These are things that we wait, like I can't wait to see happen.
I asked you that question, Pearl. The world before this whole coronavirus lockdown, because I wanted to ask you, what was your outlook for 2020 before coronavirus? Because in the broadcast industry, we were very optimistic about 2020. We felt like this was going to be a great year for us in terms of advertising revenue. How about you, Pearl? What was your outlook before, coronavirus?
We were not only optimistic, Jiggy, we were very excited and enthusiastic for the year 2020. You know, we are booked solid until September already, and we had already events lined up until December. So we were very excited, and we were hiring, adding manpower, adding people, and then suddenly in the middle of the our interviews, everything just poof, nothing. So our clients started canceling events due to safety concerns. We were told to meet virtually. So it was just very shocking. And now here we are, just in our homes. Yeah, so
Um, it must take a huge, not only emotional, but as well as a financial toll, not just on you guys, of course, but for the entire world, for that matter. What sort of is the advertising industry expecting any sort of governmental support or anything like that? Is there anything that's been proposed to government, or we're just gonna be left to fend for yourselves in the industry?
well, I guess we have to fend for ourselves also. But I believe that the Dole has a plan for the small business, small and medium enterprises. So it's a dole out for employees to cover part of their salaries. It's not much, but I guess it helps. So whatever we can get from the government, that would be very appreciated. But in our case, we also have to do some measures to help our employees.
Pearl, when we say the new normal, we mean working from home, right? I think that's one of the primary things that will be happening, not just for your industry, but everyone in general. For the advertising industry specifically, it is about creativity, right? It's about coming up with the best campaigns, the best TV ads, the best radio ads, the best jingles, the best print ads, and all that stuff, the best digital ads. And I think brainstorming is a crucial activity in an advertising agency. How do you think will you maintain the same level of creativity that you had in the boardroom, brainstorming and having a group of people have a cup of coffee or have little, cookies on the side and all that stuff while making decisions creatively, now that you will be doing all of those practically from your respective homes remotely without the benefit of seeing, body language or tone or having a handshake or anything concrete. It's just virtually from what we're doing now. So how do you intend to maintain that kind of creativity that you had before? How will you replicate that?
That would be very difficult to totally replicate, but we're still hoping that in the new normal we can still get some semblance of, like the thing that we used to do before. So we're still looking forward to having all those brainstorming sessions. Probably we will be keeping away from each other a bit, like in the beginning, because we don't really know when this pandemic will be totally disappear, until we have the vaccine or some sort of cure. So unless that happens, we would still continue to do social distancing. Um, and also with the digitization, at least we have things like what we are doing now with Zoom meetings. We have been doing a lot of that even before. So when some years now, we have been doing client presentations through Zoom, and we have been doing also, submitting our work online. So it's good. We will still continue with that, but at the same time, we really hope that we can go back to the normal that we have been doing before the pandemic.
You mentioned earlier, Pearl, that your outlook for 2020 before the coronavirus was amazing. You were booked up to the end of the year, December 2020. Now that we're here, of course, things have been canceled, or they pulled out of your contracts and all that stuff. If and when, and that is a big when, things start opening up, what is your outlook for your industry?
Well, most of our events have not been canceled. They just have been postponed. Although some were had to be canceled because they were like time specific events. We still have a very positive outlook. You know, like the industry, advertising has gone through so many changes in the past. There The digitization, the coming of the digital age, and the rise of the social media. Um, these have forced changes in our industry, um, in how we make revenue, in how we do our events, we do our projects. So um, our industry has been upended so many times, but then again, we will rise.
Never like this.
Yes, we will just adjust, and they will still happen, and we will be there, and we will be ready with all enthusiasm to do the best work that we always do.
Um, Based on your own outlook, Pearl, what specific industries do you think will emerge as your new base of clientele, in terms of industries that will need advertising? What specific industries do you think will be requiring your services?
Generally, probably for us, and not for us only, but generally, I think the health industry would be very important because number one, people are very, very focused on this right now. Not only right now, but also in the future, because the concern for the health during the pandemic just showed us how important it is. So everything is taking a backseat. Everything is about health right now. So after that, the finances, people are stressed about their finances, and also for our for our products, some products which are considered non-essential right now, it's all taking a backseat. So we will still be back after this pandemic. For sure, there is an end to this. We have to think that. So we will still be there. The clients that we have right now are in technology, in telecommunications, transportation. These are still essentials to the way we live our lives. So it will still continue.
Pearl, I know you have been hunkered down in your residence and have probably been reading a lot or knowing about what's going on with your industry, especially. What have you learned so far, Pearl? What is everybody doing here in the Philippines? What is everybody doing in the advertising industry all over the world? How are they dealing with this coronavirus? And what is their outlook as well? Do they have a similar positive outlook as you? And is there like a specific advertising agency that you look up to that is doing something right now in these trying times all over the world? Maybe you can give me your take on that, Pearl.
I think all of us are trying to cope also. Like three of my children are in Manila, and they're still working
Okay.
from home. So they're still operating
Oh,
8 hours a day. So my son, eldest son, works in Macan Global, Macan Worldwide.
oh, okay.
So
Wow. Okay.
he still works. And then my daughter also works in a digital marketing agency. She still works 8 hours a day.
Okay.
So
Wow.
there's still working just remotely, trying to manage the kind of work that can be done remotely. Of course, not all functions can be done remotely. But for a lot of right us right now, especially with social media, with digital marketing, we can do so much even when we are working from home.
What sort of industries still require advertising in these times?
Uh, you see, Jiggy, advertising in the time of a global pandemic is really a very delicate proposition. It's so
Exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are concerned about health. So, as I said earlier, everything is taking a backseat. Um, Everything else. So we have to tread very carefully on how we are going to craft the messaging, on what you are going to put. So there have been very successful campaigns worldwide, like I guess how they're showing that they care, they're showing what they are doing to improve their businesses. So there are still advertisements that are coming out, but uh, crafted very, very carefully um, to be sensitive also to the situation that the world is in.
So, would you be able to tell us what specific industries these campaigns are from that require your two children to still be working, although remotely, but still be working? What specific industries are still actively advertising themselves?
From what I know, fast moving consumer goods, FMCGs, and then telecommunications, even transport, fast foods, restaurants, they're creating ahead their campaigns in the coming months. I think getting ready for when this will end. So that is a good strategy. You know, just because the forecast is still good, even though the demand will of course be very subdued in the next coming months. I don't think that people will immediately be spending a lot because the finances have been curtailed. So I guess the demand will slowly go back to normal, and of course there will be definitely an end to this crisis. So and when it comes, everyone will just be ready. We have campaigns being rolled out already, so that should be very exciting, something to look forward to.
You mentioned earlier in our interview that you're enrolling your employees on digital schools and all that stuff, learning new skills. But you also mentioned earlier that the world that we inhabited before coronavirus was already getting digitalized. The rise of social media and all that stuff. I think what this lockdown, what this crisis has enabled us to do is to accelerate the digitalization of the world, right? Because everybody needs to just do it from their respective homes and work remotely. Are we ready for a more digital world, especially here in Cebu, in the Philippines? We just had a problem doing this interview last night, and we tried again today. Thank goodness everything's fine. Our digital bandwidth, our infrastructure is not yet ready, uh, seems to me, based on our problem that we encountered yesterday. Do you think the Philippines is ready for a more digitalized economy?
Yes, definitely. Everything is improving. So that's what is good about it. So everything, though we have so many challenges, everything is improving. So we look forward to that because the digital age has come years ago. So we just have to keep on improving and be ready for it. Although I would not discount the fact that there will still be human interaction. It's very important in our society, especially in the Philippines, when we are very, very people oriented. We have big families. We have a huge circle of friends that we want to see and interact also. So I don't think that the human interaction will be totally gone from it. I hope not, and I pray not, definitely.
Pearl, what is the industry doing right now? What are you doing, or perhaps your your company doing ASAP Advertising in terms of trying to help the plight of our less fortunate brothers and sisters? Is the industry doing anything as a whole here in Cebu, or are you doing something personally with a group of friends, perhaps, or
Yeah.
peers and all that?
Yeah. Not for the entire industry, but I myself, I am involved in a group we're called the Women's Circle of Cebu. So we are working together with food COVID-19 Food Drive Cebu to feed indigent families. At this time of a global pandemic, this is the time that we find a purpose. Ti- find time to help others. Like, what can you do, even in a small way? So our group, our circle of women entrepreneurs banded together, and then we came up with a plan, and we raised funds, and we are going to feed uh, indigent families um, in this in the city. Today, in fact, Jiggy, we are going to be in Tejero. We are going to give 700 family meals to the entire barangay of Tejero and Tinago. So those are 700 households. So we're giving each household a family meal. We hope to do this every week. It's a lot of effort to raise funds, I know, but I think that's one of the most satisfying things that you can do at this time, because to see people smile and be happy, uh, just receiving a meal, it gives so much hope to them. And this is something that just, like, we can all easily do need, help somebody in need. So that's what we have been doing right now. So there is a group called COVID-19 Food Drive Cebu. It's on Facebook. If they want to donate, they can check. Um, like in our case, we're giving a whole chicken, kamote, 2 kilos rice. It packed and delivered to them. And then, of course, we practice social distancing. So we give out coupon numbers to each household to make sure that everyone gets their share. So even though um, we are also coordinating this with the barangay community workers and the police. So we are doing something, we have a purpose. This pandemic just needs to inspire others on how they can help and give. Because, for us, like, in a way, we are so much blessed than many others. So the question is, how can you share your blessing? So this is what we have been busy about. So today, this afternoon, we will be rolling out to 700 families, and then more next week also on Tuesday, another round.
You think you'll be able to get out and drive around?
That was what I was doing when I was out. I was trying to get some supplies, and with that, and coordinate the efforts with the police and all. But then it's very, very hard to do right now. But we were able to work with different people on how to move the goods around, because like um, where I live, it's we have a Mandawi City Pass, so technically I couldn't go to Cebu City. So there's some struggle there, like with the movement of the rice and all of those things. But there is always a way, with friends working hand in hand together. We can get through this. We can as long as we're doing something. That's the most important thing.
In this brave new world, Pearl, post Corona, what is your take on what you think is the most valuable commodity in terms of your industry? What sort of product or service that you can offer that will be most welcomed by most people who need advertising? Is there like a specific kind of commodity or a product of yours that will be more sellable in this brave new world?
At the moment, we're not really thinking about selling at this time, but we have our staff are involved. There has been a nationwide call for artists,
Yeah,
copywriters,
correct.
and people by NEDA, by Dole, by DOH to make infographic materials.
Yeah,
So
correct. Yeah.
yeah, so uh, we are going to involve ourselves with that. I encourage them to be part of it because their artistic skills. They can come up with informational flyers that our government can use to educate the people about this pandemic on what they can do, the health health tips and things like that. So that's where we can contribute also.
Pearl, we have a lot of friends who will be watching this interview, perhaps, and they're scared of what the future might bring. They have so many unknowns in their minds, especially the advertising industry, which is suffering the same fate as everybody else, all the other industries as well. Uh, what is your advice to the advertising industry in general? How should they cope while we're in this lockdown state, and how should we uh, perhaps behave as an industry once things open up slowly? What is your advice to all of us? Go ahead.
So thank you for that, Jiggy. I'm not an authority in our industry, though. I'm not that big of an authority, so I will not um, say it as an advice. Okay, I would rather share what we have been doing during this time, so that hopefully that it will encourage others, even in our industry. Okay, so one of the things that was very important for us um, was to have a structure, have a schedule, daily schedule, maintain our interaction with the people in our office. That's why we have the work from home, although it's reduced 4 hours. So we still have to keep our sanity, so to say. So we still have that structure, and then we have we are doing so many things right now, like fixing the infrastructure, getting ready, coming up with our strategy, crafting our strategy for the next coming months when everything will be back. So, um, and then so that when we are back, it's turnkey. It's a push button. We are ready. We're going to be better. We're going to be more efficient. We're going to be more thorough. So that's what we have been doing. And then again, I would really go back to an important thing that all of us can do, not just in our industry. Everyone should find a purpose. Think of how you can help others. I use How can we use, ask yourself, how can you use your skills to be of service to the ones in need right now? Like me, I have been trying to organize different groups to commit to the COVID-19 food drive in Cebu. So that's my purpose during this pandemic. So I think all of us needs to do something and not just waste away on probably watching shows or whatever. So let's for us, we would like to keep going, keep working, and of course in our homes. So we are hoping, of course, and praying that this will end, and for sure um, there will be an end to this, and we will be ready when that happens.
As a final question, Pearl, what is the first thing that you will do when things start opening up? What's the first thing that you will do when you can do things normally?
First, I would visit my mom. You know, she's away. She's with my brother, so that's one of the things that I would do. Family is very important. I would see my brothers. Have a very long lunch with them. Maybe we will be 1 meter apart from each other, but I could see them. And of course, I'm very excited to work Jiggy. You know, I haven't seen the office in 36 days, I think.
Yeah,
So
you said earlier.
time I was there was March 13. I haven't been back. So I'm looking forward to have uh, my table again, you know, seeing all my people, and then also, you know, hopefully when flights are back, I would love to see my children in Manila. So they have been in lockdown in Manila because before the lockdown was implemented, they were still not totally work from home. So they were on rotation. So they decided to stay so that they can work. But then a total lockdown happened and they couldn't come back home. So I would love to see them also.
Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mrs. Perl Jacalan, the managing director of ASAP Advertising Services. Thank you so much, Pearl.
Thank you for having me, Jiggy, and stay safe, keep healthy always. To all your viewers, thanks for listening.
And let's do this some more, okay?
Sure, for sure, yeah.
Okay, Pearl, maybe we can stop the recording now. And